Hello guys, here are top level Adobe softwares.
Will be Photoshop, which is the software you want if you need to manipulate photos professionally. But that is pretty self-explanatory, as it is so famous that the word Photoshop is now considered a verb in the English language. Photoshop is a versatile tool which is great for making posters, advertisements, wallpapers, and digital artwork. Artists use it to draw, sketch, and even paint digitally. Photographers use it to enhance and retouch their photos. Meanwhile, YouTubers use it to make cringy clickbait thumbnails. Then there's Adobe Illustrator, which may look pretty similar to Photoshop at first glance, as it is also used for designing images, but the key difference is how they store the artwork. Photoshop works with raster art, which means that all photos are stored as pixels. Illustrator, on the other hand, works with vector art, which means that the artwork is stored as mathematical equations. Raster art will get pixelized when you enlarge it beyond its resolution. However, the vector art can be infinitely enlarged without losing any quality. The disadvantage of vector art is that it cannot be used for anything detailed like photographs. Hence, we have two separate tools for each purpose. Illustrator is great for making icons, logos, posters, and graphics, which can be used in other projects. Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a professional video editing tool used for making everything from YouTube videos to blockbuster movies. You can cut, edit, and trim large numbers of clips, and then sequentially arrange them in a layered timeline where you can add various effects to your video. You can also add text, transition, audio effects, and much more. Speaking of effects, Adobe After Effects is a powerful software for creating all kinds of visual effects. It is basically the Photoshop for videos. It is commonly used for creating animations, motion graphics, and other cinematic effects. If After Effects is so powerful, then why do I need Premiere Pro? Because you can only work with one video at a time in After Effects, as it is not designed for editing the final sequence of a video. So after you create the visual effects, you need to export it to Premiere Pro to make the final video. Adobe Prelude, which is a video editing tool dedicated for rough cutting and organizing a large amount of videos. A movie might have several hours of footage shot with different cameras, so Prelude is used to chop off unnecessary parts, sync various shots, and tag the content before it is sent to the main editing team. Audio is important too. So there is Adobe Audition, which is a dedicated audio editing software designed to record, edit, and mix audio. Adobe Air, that allows you to make apps and games within Animate for several operating systems including Android and iOS. Next is Adobe Character Animator, which makes it possible to create 2D animations without having to animate it frame by frame. It uses the webcam to copy your facial expressions and magically make your character imitate you. This saves a lot of time as you don't need to go through the pain of lip syncing your characters manually. Then there's Adobe Dimension, which makes it easy for graphic designers to add 3D models in a 2D image to create photorealistic composites of both elements. This is useful in making product models for advertisements, prototyping, and package design. The professional software typically used for 3D modeling are extremely complex and have a steep learning curve. So the idea of Adobe Dimension is to make the basic 3D modeling as simple as Photoshop. Speaking of 3D, Adobe Fuse is another tool for making 3D models. However, this one is specialized in making human models, which you can then export to Photoshop or any other 3D software. It is pretty simple to use, even though you can create highly customizable models by changing their physical attributes, clothes, textures, colors, etc. Then there's Adobe XD, which is a user experience and user interface prototyping tool for designing apps. It allows you to quickly make the mock-up of your app so that everyone can see and discuss it before developers start doing the hard work of coding it. If you want to develop this user interface into a website, there is Adobe Dreamweaver, which is a web designing software which lets you visually make websites without having to touch the code. But it also features a powerful code editor which supports numerous programming languages, thus letting you customize the design however you like.